let me begin. So, in the book I will read today to you, there will be a story seemingly unrelated to restoration magic. However, if you read in between the lines and you understand the philosophy that has been portrayed, your mind will open and the knowledge will be vast. It is a reflex that you have to suppress, to only see with your eyes. It is a reflex that you have to suppress, to grasp for air. It is a reflex that you must suppress. And therefore, we shall begin with the first book of today, which would be the so-called Withershins by Yakut Tawashi. All right, said Kazaga. Why don't you want to talk? Zaki put down his mug of mead and just stared at his wife for a few seconds. Finally, grudgingly, because I have a conversation, darling. It flows in alphabetical order, just like I told you. I think the only way to stop it is not to talk at all. Couldn't you just be imagining this? Said Kazaka patiently. It wouldn't be the first time you had an insane paranoid delusion. Also, please take notes. We will discuss everything you find during the text that you want to talk about after I finish reading it, okay? Okay. Can I get feedback? Please, do you understand me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
I just got my pad and paper.
All right. Remember, when you thought the royal battle mage of Blackmarsh was hiding behind every tree with lewd intent on making you a middle-aged, fat, balding tailor into his personal sex slave? You don't need to be ashamed, but it's Sheogorth's way to make us all a little crazy sometimes. If you go to the healer, damn it, Kazaka, snarled Zaki and stomped out, slamming the door behind him. He nearly collided with the Siasat, his neighbor. Excuse me, she said to Zaki back. He clamped his hands over his ears as he stormed down the street. Turning the corner to his tailor shop, his first customer was waiting out front, smiling widely. Zaki the tailor tried to keep his temper under control and took out his keys, returning the customer's smile. Fine day, said the young man. Gods, hollered Zaki, sending the young man flying with a well-placed punch and dashing away. As much as he hated to admit that Kazaha was right, it was evidently time once again for one of the healer's herbal cocktails. Tarsu's temple to health, mental and physical, was several streets north, an impressive obelisk. Alka, the chief herbalist, met him before he came in the hall. How are you today? Sazaki. Saf. I need to make an appointment with Tarsu, said Zaki in his calmest voice. Just one moment, let me see how his schedule looks. Halka said, looking over a scroll. Is this an emergency? Kind of, said Zaki and slapped his head. Why couldn't he say yes or absolutely or sure? Let's see, said Halka, frowning. The best I can do is next Midas. Will that work for you? Midas, cried Zaki. I'll be a complete psychotic by Midas. Isn't there anything earlier? He knew what the answer would be before she said it. There was no alternative. In a way, he had forced the response, if only he had kept the conversation going until... Why? No, said Halka. I'm sorry. Do you want me to make the appointment? Zaki walked away, gritting his teeth. He wandered the streets, his head down to avoid all conversation until he looked up and discovered that he had walked all the way to the wharf. A sweet breeze was blowing along the water, and he took several deep breaths until he felt almost normal. When his temper cooled, he could think again. What if this alphabetical conversation wasn't a delusion at all? What if it was? What if what he felt wasn't paranoia but acute awareness? He knew it was the classic dilemma. Am I crazy, or is there really something weird going on? Across the road was a shop. Oh yeah, please wiggle. Called Paradox, featuring a display of herbs, crystals, and vapors trapped in orbs. The sign in the window read, Mystical Consultation, sunrise to noon. It was worth a shot, though Zaki was dubious. The only people who generally came down the wharf for healing were stupid adventurers who didn't know any better. Incense burned in copious billows of pink and gold, obscuring and then revealing the clutter within. Jijig death masks glowered down from the walls. Smoke and censers hung by chains from the ceiling. The floor was a maze of bookshelves. At a well-worn table in the back, a small man wearing a headdress was tabulating a young lady's purchases. Okay, said the man. Your total comes to 57 gold pieces. I threw in the restorative scale conditioner for free. Just remember, the candle should be lit only after you invoke Goroflox, the unholy, and Mandrake root does best in partial shade. The customer gave a quick shy smile to Zaki and left the store. Please help me, said Zaki. Every conversation I hear or get involved in seems to be arranged alphabetically. I don't know if I'm going insane or if there are some kind of bizarre forces at work. To be honest with you, I'm normally a skeptic when it comes to your type of business, but I'm at the end of my rope. Can you do anything to make this madness end? Quite a common problem, actually, said the man, patting Zaki on the arm. When you get to the end of the alphabet, do conversations, then go to reverse alphabetical order or start at the beginning of the alphabet? Reverse alphabetical order, said Zaki and corrected himself. Damn it! I mean, it starts from the beginning all over again. I'm in agony. Can you call on the spirits and tell me I'm insane? Am I insane? Sauriki, said the man with a reassuring smile. I don't have to. You're quite sane. Thank you, said Zaki, frowning. By the way, my name's Zaki, not Sauriki. Unusually close, eh? Said the man, patting Zaki on the back. My name's Octoplasm. Follow me, please. I think I have just what you need. Octoplasm led Zaki down the narrow corridor behind the desk. The two men pushed past dusty cabinets filled with strange creatures and liquids, past heaps of Neolithic stones, past stacks after stack of moldering leather-bound books into the dank heart of the store. There he picked up a small, squat, cylindrical drum and a book and handed them to Zaki. Vampirism, Daedric possession, and withershin therapy, said Zaki, squinting his eyes to read the book in the gloom. What in oblivion does this have to do with me? I'm not a vampire. Look at this tan. And what's withershin therapy, and how much will it cost me? Withershin's from the old Cyrodiilic wither signs, which means backwards, said Octoplasm in a serious tone. It is the art of reversing the direction of things in order to gain access to the spirit world, and break curses, cure vampirism, and trigger all manners of apotropaic healing. You know the story about the guy who was told that slaughterfish live in hot water, so he said, well, let's boil them in cold water. Xenophus, said Zaki instinctively. His brother having taken a rather esoteric upper-level course in Cyrodiilic philosophy as an elective and at the Imperial College 31 years before, and immediately wishing he hadn't. And what do you do with this cylindrical thingy? Octoplasm lit a candle and held the object over it so Zaki could see more clearly. All along the cylinder were narrow slits, and when Zaki peered within them, he saw a succession of old black and white drawings of a naked man leaping over boxes, one frame after the next. You spin it like so, said Octoplasm, slowly whirling the device clockwise so the man within leapt over the boxes over and over again. It's called a zoetrope. Pretty neat, eh? Now you take it and start spinning it counterclockwise, and while you're doing it, read this incantation I've marked in the book. Zaki took this zoetrope and began spinning it counterclockwise over the candle, so the yes, please wiggle. So the little naked man within seemed to be bound backwards over the boxes. It took a little coordination and concentration to keep whirling at a steady pace, but gradually the man's awkward and jerky back jumps became more and more fluid until Zaki could no longer see the individual frames flipping. It looked just like a little humanoid hamster on an endless reverse treadmill. While he continued to spin the zoetrope with one hand, Zaki took the book in the other and read the underlined passage. Zoetrope, counter spin, counter spin, counter spin. Pull my life from the ruts that it's in. I invoke the goddesses Boethia, Kinareth, and Drissis to invert my potentially metaphysical crisis. My old life may have yet been rather pointless and plain, but I dislike the prospect of going insane. Make the pattern reverse by this withershin. Zoetrope, counter spin, counter spin, counter spin. As he chanted the spell, Zaki noticed that the little naked man in the zoetrope began to look more like himself. The mustache vanished, and the hairline receded. The man's waistline expanded, and the buttocks sagged to the shape and texture of half-inflated balloons. Scales approximating his own Argonian pattern appeared. The man began to trip as he bound backwards over the boxes, taking bigger breaths and sweating by the time Zaki reached the end of the incantation. His twin was clutching his chest and tumbling over and over the boxes in a free fall. Octoplasm took Zoetrope and the box from Zaki's hands. Nothing seemed to have changed. No thunder had rumbled, no winged serpents had sprung out of Zaki's head, no fiery explosions, but Zaki felt that something was different. Good different. Normal. At the counter, when Zaki pulled out his satchel of gold pieces, Octoplasm merely shook his head. Our treatment radical such of effects term long that what should be can't we naturally charge no. Feeling the first real relief he had felt in days, Zaki walked backwards out of the shop and down the road to his shop. I see. So, did you take notes?
Yes, I did.
All right.
So, I understand the book is about, like, reversing harmful effects or turning fate backwards, which is funny about the name Withershins, right? But does it have to do with, like, using an unnatural means to access a mythical force? Or that, like, reality is unstable?
Interesting. Well, for example, the incantation that was used. I will read it out again. So the incantation, it was used, so they were calling out to... Alright. They were mixing calls to Boethia, Kinareth, and some Drisis. No idea
okay.
what it was. But I think it was not even about it.
Yeah, no, I think it more has to do with perception shapes truth, and madness can reveal hidden cosmic rule.
Yes.
Or, well, I guess I'll use some Akatosh verbiage, and time can be bent to be reversed. Or, go in reverse.
What is very important is at the end of the book, when Octoplasm said, and we are receiving the words as Zaki would be, our treatment radical such of effects term long, the what sure be can't we naturally charge no. Firstly, he had the problem that every conversation he had would always be in alphabetical order. So every word that has been spoken, he would perceive...
Let me see if I can guess. Is it proving the curse or spell has been broken due to the flow of the language itself?
Well, it seems like his ailment was replaced with another that he seemed to be, well, deeming normal. That's a good question, but
Yes, that's what I'm saying. But the final line of the book isn't. That sentence is like backwards in structure. No.
Yes. Are treatment radical such of effects term long? The what sure be can't, we naturally charge no. No charge naturally we can't be sure what the long-term effects of such radical treatments are. Interesting. So now it's backwards.
Yes, right. And I think that proves that the curse or the whatever was put on him, the spell, has been reversed.
You think Octoplasm talked himself intentionally backwards to prove that everything is now backwards?
Yes, maybe.
Interesting. What does anybody else have to say? What do you say? What is your theory?
I would say it's reflection.
Reflection?
Yes. I believe at the beginning of the story he was unhappy, right? And this woman he saw was not mad. But now, as he cast the spell, it reflected. She now doesn't see herself as mad anymore. And he is now happy. And if you reflect the last passage in a mirror,
I see.
maybe
So
I'm like the passage.
so you say his whole existence have been mirrored.
Yes. I'm not too sure.
Interesting. So he's now naturally happy instead of miserable. He's now hearing everything counter, so backwards, and he is. Oh, interesting. Yes. Well, I find it important to note that also, if it was an incantation, mixing different powers to get a desired result might make the, well, make the ones you're calling unhappy. Is Roman still with us? Can you say something, Roman?
Yeah, I'm listening. I just got here, so I don't really know what we're
Oh, you didn't hear me
what we're
reading the
talking
book?
about. I heard half of it. That's what I came in nearly at the end.
Oh yeah, the last half is what's important. Basically, the man was miserable because he heard everything said to him in alphabetical order. So every word would begin alphabetically, successive to the next. And he got healing from a person who had him recite the incantation and do a Zoe. What was it called? Zoe. Let me read again what it was. Zoe contraption. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. What a huge book. Zoetrope. Because the incantation went as following: Zoetrope, counter spin, counter spin, counter spin, pull my life from the rut that it's in. I invoke the goddesses Boethia, Kiana, Earth, and Drissis to invert my potentially metaphysical crisis. My old life may have been rather pointless and plain, but I dislike the prospect of going insane. Make the pattern reverse by the withershin.
I mean, my understanding of that chant is that it doesn't fix the problem. And my question though is, how
Yes.
long had he had this?
How long he had the ailment?
Yes.
Not that long.
Apparently, let's go to the beginning. Good question.
You could
but-
also view it as a cycle of sorts. I believe
Well.
those gods represent death, life, and the in between, no? Reversing of the cycle. Well, that's also just another theory.
Hmm. Well, there's no account of how long it's been going on, but long enough to have him go insane. However, it would take me 30 minutes to properly crash out if this was if this had befallen me.
I think that the length of time is really important because, you know, we're an adaptable people. You would eventually be able to discern what a person meant naturally, even if the words were in a different order than what is
Yes.
conventional.
Even though we may
And then
adapt.
if
Yes.
Well, I mean, eventually you'd just be able to. I guess other people would still have difficulty communicating with you. I could see how. Yeah, I take it back. That would still be difficult. That being said, if the incantation was just a reversal, it's really just a.
Interesting. Yes. And beyond that, we can adapt to things that happen to us because we do not, you know, we don't blame the rock for being a rock. But however, if you feel cursed, you will find no peace because you know somebody did this to you. And
Actually, did he also have to speak in alphabetical order?
no.
Okay, then I don't see a problem with. I mean, I don't think this curse would be too inconvenient after a certain period of time, depending.
Interesting. Well, everybody
So
has
the
yes.
so the restoration spell to help him, is that how do you see it? Would you see it more as it's is it healing people, interfering with the fate of the people and time, or do you think it is more helping and preserving the life um, exactly how the divines wanted it?
Well, it seems something beyond our plane of existence did befall him and curse him. I do feel that it is without question that this is not a natural ailment somebody just, is befallen with. And,
Perhaps he had a stroke.
What is a stroke?
well, a stroke is a blood clot in
It's-
your brain, but
What is a brain?
uh, it's a difficult question.
It's like a heart, but for your head.
What is a no? I'm just taking the piss.
Yeah.
I mean, there's literally a heart on the table in front of you, so I was hoping you'd stop there.
Yeah. So, yes. But how can this be resolved? Curses.
By reversing them?
I think the source of the curse is what matters the most in order to cure it.
Yeah, right.
Yes. Well, it depends. There's many different things how to approach it. You may try it with a potion of cure disease. It's a standard alchemical I think the word is concoction.
Concoction, yep.
Yes.
You got it.
Usually, Graves and Valkyrie will sell it to you. Apparently,
Could also be time, no?
apparently,
I mean,
I mean,
Akatos
yes.
teaches. Sorry, I was just saying that. So Akatos teaches us about time and patience. Um, when he did get cured, he had to be patient and wait his time. So perhaps time is one that could cure a curse with divine intervention, perhaps.
Hmm.
I want to disagree on that one.
Well, I will tell you when I've removed curses from golden pots, although I never really thought about it. Uh, what the plague in Markarth, for example. I I didn't find out where the source was. Someone else found out where the source was with this golden pot at a shrine of a Daedra, and apparently the cultists had cursed the pot. So I reversed it with a blessing and asked Akatosh to cleanse it.
Yes.
So maybe you're right, Sleeps. Maybe divine intervention sometimes is the answer. But I don't know if that's what the book is about.
Well, the curses in their nature, they do not touch the body, but they touch the soul, which has then effects on your body in yes, do that afterwards. So if you are cursed by somebody or something, your soul is touched and tainted, maybe even tarnished, and you have to seek guidance from holy powers, from our ancestors, the Aedra, and you have to, well, invoke their help. Usually visiting a shrine and praying and meaning it will cure most of your ailments if they deem you worthy. So usually priests of Arche do this. They do purging of corrupt spiritual curses, but there's a cost.
What's the cost?
Well, usually it's coin, but yes, the priests do. It takes a toll on them. You have to understand, battling the Daedra is nothing that is of little risk or in general somebody can do on a whim. There is also another form which is highly discouraged. From me personally, I would urge you to not do that. Daedric curses have levels to it. They are Daedric curses that are very powerful and will override any other curses and diseases. So that is why some or many people seek vampirism or lycanthropy to, flush out all the other curses of their system. And that is sadly why it's so, well, how would you put it? So
Rampant?
no, yes, it's popular. People think my child is dying, I can bring her to necromancers or vampires. However, people have to understand upsetting the natural order of life and death upsets it just endangers our existence as a whole, because hunger has no emotion. You cannot appeal to hunger. And that is why one does not give in to hunger or to their need for superficial and immediate relief of their ailments. And I think this man had his curse replaced with another and was content. He was happy about it. However, not everybody will be satisfied by just, living life backwards. And there is one thing I want to say. The divines do not burden you with things you are not able to endure. They know every one of us very good. And your lot in life is but a mere test to see if your soul is destined for unity back with the divines after your decease. And it's a mere trial here. And everything is a test. So don't be tempted by the Daedra who cannot create of themselves. The only thing they can do is manipulate what already has been created. And that is why they despise us, because we are creation. The Aedra, our ancestors, they grabbed into nothingness and made existence out of it. And that is truly divine. And they cannot compare with it. But anybody else has anything to say about the book? Your thoughts?
Well said, Abacus.
No more thoughts. Well, then please ponder on it. I will hold a reading again in 2 days' time, so the day after tomorrow, again at 6 p.m.
I'll let everyone know, Abacus. Do you want to do it here again?
No, the next one will be at the Shrine of Stendar, west of Fort Greymore. People won't be able to find it, won't they?
Maybe not. I mean, I'm writing it down, but...
That one's a hard place to find, and I look for it. Maybe... I guess a library would make sense.
I see.
Perhaps you could make a meeting point and maybe have someone guide the people.
Yes.
Perhaps somewhere in Whiterun to have a central location. And,
What was it west of? West of Fort?
No White Run for me.